Myself Rachna Shukla, starting with subject Social Science of Standard 8. And today we are going to start with a new chapter, and that is lesson number 3, the civics part of your subject, and that is Indian Constitution. Now, civics is a new portion, new part for you students. In civics, we will study everything about Indian Constitution, how the country is governed, how it is ruled, how the laws are framed, and we will talk about the elections and everything in this part. That is the civics part. Now talking about Indian Constitution. See, in your chapter, the introduction part starts with there were 3 children. I will tell you a story about what are the rules. There were 3 children sitting and watching the cricket match. Those children were Neeti, Priyanshi and Sachin. So the 3 children were sitting and watching a cricket match. That was the final match, the World Cup between India and Sri Lanka of 2011. So all of you know that there was a World Cup in 2011 between India and Sri Lanka. These children were watching the World Cup. There was so much excitement in the atmosphere, and Sri Lanka has given a very challenging target, has scored very much run and given a challenging target to India. But our captain, only due to our captain Mahendra Singh Dhoni, India was able to win that World Cup. And there was a feeling of victory in the atmosphere when we won the World Cup. Then suddenly, one of the child, that is Neeti, asked her mother, Mama, yesterday there was a match between India and England and that was declared as a tie. Now what do you mean by a tie? Her mother replied, tie means that the famous organization like ICC, the Indian Cricket Association, has framed certain rules for the game of cricket, and according to the tie, none of the team has won, but both the teams has got the equal scores. Both the team has got the equal scores. So her mother told like that way. That are the rules that is framed by the ICC organization for the cricket match. Like that way, there are also certain rules for the games like football, hockey and kabaddi. So her mother explained that if there are certain rules for such specific games, the particular games had their own set of rules, then to run our big country, we will require a set of rules. See, in our school also, if you go in school, there are a certain set of rules which you have to follow compulsory by hook or crook. So that means to run a big country, to run a big nation, there are a set of rules which are framed and which have to be followed daily by each and every citizen. So let's study the set of rules, what are the Indian set of rules and how it was formed and which are they in this chapter. Now starting with the Constitution. A systematic compilation. Compilation means formation. A systematic compilation of set of rules to run the government of a country is known as the Constitution of our country. Constitution means basically the set of rules which is formed by the government of our country, and it is for running a smooth government of the country. So this is the Constitution of our country. Now, Constitution in the whole world of different countries are of 2 types. That is, either it can be written constitution or it can be oral constitution. So our country India has written form of constitution. We have a whole set of book for constitution, that is the set of rules framed in a book, and that is the constitution book. So we have written form of constitution. Now talking about the preamble. What is the preamble? Our constitution, our Indian constitution starts with a preamble. Now what is a preamble? See, I am reading the preamble from your textbook. It's given on page number 13. I am reading it from the textbook. We, the people of India, having solemnly resolved to constitute India into a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic, and to secure to all its citizens justice, social, economic and political, liberty of thought, expression, belief, faith and worship, equality of status and of opportunity, and to promote among them all fraternity, assuring the dignity of the individual and the unity and integrity of the nation. In our Constituent Assembly, this 26th day of November 1949, do hereby adopt, enact and give to ourselves this Constitution. So this was the preamble. The first page of our Constitution starts with the preamble. In this preamble, it is written that we, the citizens of India, will follow the rules and regulations that is given by the government. It is framed by many scholars of our Indian citizens, and thus we will give justice, we will give secularism, democratic and justice to each and every citizens of our country. And at the end, the date of its enforcement is written in the preamble. So this was all about Constitution. Now let's study how was the Constitution of India formed. How was it formed? See, during the time of independence, when the Britishers left us, there was no rule, no regulation, no leader, no party in our country. India was left alone without any parents, I can say without any father or mother. India was alone. No people, no one to rule the country or govern the country, no government was there. So, basically what is a constitution? Constitution is taking together the national goals and the aims such as democracy, socialism, secularism and national unity. So in this chapter we will study about democracy, socialism, secularism and national unity. So at that time there was no leader, no rules in our country to govern the country. So there was a need to set rules, set some set of regulations to govern our country. So a group of people, that is the Constituent Assembly, was established, forming a group of scholars, a group of national leaders and many other people, and that was established on 9th December 1946. Please do remember the date. When was the Constituent Assembly established? It was established on 9th December 1946. In this there were many people, many scholars, many leaders of our nation. So they formed a group to make a set of rules and regulations for our country. Now, who were there? There were prominent scholars and leaders comprising of the Constituent Assembly. And those leaders were, I am speaking the name Jawaharlal Nehru, the first person. Second one, Dr. Rajendra Prasad. The third one, Sardar Patel, that is Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel. Next, Maulana Abdul Kalam Azad. Next, Shyam Prasad Mukherjee. The next one, Sardar Baldev Singh. I have written only just a few names, the prominent scholars' names, but there were many other peoples too in this committee. So this were the prominent scholars and the leaders of our committee. Then Frank Anthony, a person named Frank Anthony, he was the person representing the Anglo-Indian community. So from that community, Anglo-Indian community, also one person was there, and a person named as H.P. Modi, he was a member representing the Parsi community. So from both the communities there were one member. There was even female members. Yes, female were also not back at that time. There were female members like Sarojini Naidu and Vijaya Lakshmi Pandit. These two were the female leaders, the female members in our Constituent Assembly. Then other leaders like or other scholars like Alagi Krishnaswamy Iyer, a person from the south, the name itself suggests. Then Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, a very famous person, all of you know who is Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, and K.M. Munshi. So these were the three scholars of our Constituent Assembly. Now, after a Constituent Assembly was formed, there need to be the president, the head of the assembly. So, the head or the president of the Constituent Assembly was elected as Dr. Rajendra Prasad. So, Dr. Rajendra Prasad was the president of the Constituent Assembly. Now, next, there were subcommittees also to see the important aspects and other areas of our country. There were subcommittees. Subcommittees means a group of members under each leader, that is called subcommittees. There were subcommittees who looked after the important aspects and other areas of our nation. The drafting committee. Yes, there was a drafting committee who was headed by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. So, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar was the chairman of the drafting committee. Drafting committee actually means a committee who prepares draft, the main basic thing of our constitution. So the chairman was Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. Now, for making rules and regulations for framing the constitution, this assembly held 166 meetings. See, I have written here. Total, how many meetings were held? Total 166 meetings were held to make the constitution, and it took over a time period of 2 years, 11 months and 18 days. How many time it was conducted? For 2 years, 11 months and 18 days. After that, after meeting for 166 times, finally, the committee made our constitution and it was passed. The committee passed the constitution. That means it declared the constitution to the public on 26th November 1949. Please remember the dates. It's 26th November 1949. But it was not applicable. It was not enforced in the public, in the citizens. It was enforced on 26th January 1950, that is our Republic Day. Now you can understood why we celebrate our Republic Day. Why? Because on this date, that is 26th January 1950, our Indian Constitution was formed and it was enforced in our country. That means the people in true sense became republic from the clutches of the Britishers. The people started governing their own country, their own set of rules were framed, and from this way the Indian people became republic. So we celebrate this day 26th January 1950 as Republic Day. Every year 26th January is celebrated as Republic Day. First time the constitution was enforced on 26th January 1950. Now, a question might arise in your mind that why do we need a constitution? If there is no constitution, what will happen? See, a constitution means a set of rules that govern our country. A country has to fulfill certain objectives and goals, and if there is no constitution, a government cannot run smoothly. So, for a government to rule smoothly, to run smoothly, there need to be a set of rules, and that set of rules are known as constitution. So, we need constitution, and there are also certain provisions if the government do not run properly or if it does not run smoothly. So this was all about our constitution. We saw about preamble and we also learned about how the Indian constitution was formed. Now let's see the next topic. Starting with our next topic, and that is the salient features of our constitution. Yes, we learned about what is constitution. Now let's see what are the salient features of our constitution. And the first one is democracy. The first feature of our constitution is democracy. Now what is democracy? Democracy actually means rule by the people, for the people and of the people. That means the government is by the people, for the people and of the people. Now democracy, our India has accepted the democratic rule of government. So there is democracy in India. There are general elections held in every 5 years in India. What are the general elections? So elections are held, there are representatives of people, the people go and cast their vote, and from such representatives the leaders of the countries are elected. So in this way general elections are held in the country and even in each of the state and cities every 5 years. Now who can cast the vote? So citizens, our Indian citizens who are above the age of 18 or who have attained the age of 18 can cast their vote. So we cannot imagine democracy without elections. Can we imagine democracy? No. Through elections only people elect their representatives and these representatives rule the country or govern the country. Now, who is the voter? Who can vote? We have seen the age of the voter. Any voter, any citizens of our country, irrespective of his her caste, class, religion or gender, any person irrespective of caste, class, gender or religion can go and cast their vote. There is no restriction on anyone for casting the vote. He can cast the vote to any his favorite representative or favorite member. Then in democracy we have freedom of speech, freedom of expressions and freedom of thought. So we can express our own views, we can speak in public by the means of any rallies or anything. We can show our emotions, even we can give speeches and we can write our thoughts in the newspaper. So newspaper is the best thing, best media to express the freedom of speech, expressions and thought. So this was all about democracy. Now let's move to the next topic, and that is secularism. The second important feature of our democracy, that is secularism. See, citizens of our country, what is secularism? Citizens of our country have the right to follow any religion of his or her choice. So that is secularism. Once more I will repeat, if you have the right to follow your own religion of your own choice, then that is called secularism. The government do not interfere. Our government, Indian government, do not interfere in any types of secularism. It does not force the citizen to follow any particular religion. See, in our country there are many religions found. Hindus, Muslims, Sikh, Isais, Parsis, each and every community live together. Christians people, all communities live together. All festivals are celebrated. We have public holidays on each and every caste festival. So there are no restrictions of following any particular religion. The government does not discriminate any citizens. That means citizens are not discriminated, they are not biased on the basis of their faith, sect or religion. Means Hindu, Muslim, Parsis, Christians, anybody, any people are regarded as one. They are not separated, they are treated as one. So this is all about the secularism. Once again, secularism means the citizens are free to follow any religion of his or her choice. The government does not force to follow any particular religion. We have many religious people living in our country, following their own religion, establishing or developing their own temple or mosque or church or gurudwara. No restrictions on following any particular religion like some countries. For example, if you go to Pakistan, you have to compulsory follow Muslim religion. If you go to the countries of Saudi Arabia, yes, Saudi Arabia, so you cannot wear a Punjabi suit or a sari or jeans and move freely in those Saudi Arabian countries. You have to properly wear the attire of a Muslim lady, that is the burqas, and no bindis are allowed, and you have to follow the religion of Muslim community only. So these are the restrictions of such countries. They do not have secularism, but our country India has a salient feature like secularism. Now coming to the next feature, and that is republic. What is republic? Define republic. So a government that obtains powers from people directly or indirectly. The government obtain powers from the people directly or indirectly, and that is known as republic. That means who runs our country? Government runs our country. But how the government is formed? So directly the government is formed by the people, by the citizens of the country. They organize elections every 5 years, and in such elections people go and cast their vote to their favorite candidates, and such the winning candidate who gets the maximum votes run our country and run our government. So the powers of our country are not in the hands of certain people or a group of some privileged people, but actually the powers are in the hands of our common people, the citizens of India. So no one on the basis of religion, caste, creed, gender can rule our country. There is no discrimination, but a group of representatives, and those representatives are elected by the citizens of India. That people rule the country, the leaders rule the country. So republic means a government that obtains powers from people directly or indirectly. That is republic. Now with this I end my session. In today's session we learned about what is constitution, then we saw what is preamble, then we learned about how was the Indian constitution framed, the enforcement date, that is 26th January 1950, why that date is known as Republic Day, why we celebrate Republic Day every year, and then we saw the 3 salient features of our constitution. That is, the first one is democracy, the second one is secularism, and the third one is republic. Now revise once again. Democracy means rule of the people, by the people, for the people. Secularism means the citizens are allowed to follow any religion of his or her choice. The third one, republic, the government that obtains power from people directly or indirectly, that is known as republic. Now coming to the homework part, take your rough book, start writing the questions, and afterwards you will write all the questions and answers in your fair book very neatly and nicely. So start writing the questions. Question number 1. What do we need to run the administration? Number 1. What do we need to run the administration? Number 2, define constitution. Number 3, name the 2 forms of constitution. Next number, with what does Indian constitution starts? The question is, with what does Indian constitution starts? Next, which are the aims of our constitution? Which are the aims of our constitution? Next, when did, that means you have to write the date. When did the Constituent Assembly started working? When did the Constituent Assembly started working? Next, name the prominent leaders of the Constituent Assembly. Name the prominent leaders of the Constituent Assembly. Next, who represented the Anglo-Indian community? Who represented the Anglo-Indian community? Next, who represented the Parsi community? Who represented the Parsi community? Next question, name the female members of the Constituent Assembly. Next question, who was the president of the Constituent Assembly? Next question, who was the head of the drafting committee? Who was the head of the drafting committee? Next, how many meetings were held by the Constituent Assembly? How many meetings were held by the Constituent Assembly? Next, when did the committee pass the constitution? When did the committee pass the constitution? Next, when was our constitution enforced? The question is, when was our constitution enforced? Next question, define democracy. The question is, define democracy. Next question, who can cast their vote in elections? The question is, who can cast their vote in election? Next question, for how many years a government ruled the country? For how many years a government ruled the country? Next question, define secularism. The question is, define secularism. Next question, define republic. The next question is, define republic. So this was your homework, students. If you don't have textbook, so you can get your answers from this video itself. I have written all the points, the highlighted points on the board itself. So please find out your answers from this video itself. Listen me carefully, or you can write down the highlighted points in your rough book and you can easily get the answers from the board itself. So there is no need of the textbook. Everything is written on the board. Find out from the board. So you have to compulsory submit the homework in the group. I know many students are not doing their homework because of the lack of textbook, but now you have got the solution. You are getting the answers from the board itself, from my video itself. So please do your homework timely and submit in the WhatsApp group. We will meet in the next session continuing the chapter of Indian Constitution. Till then, thank you students and take care.